us the problem of for being the last speaker. It's lunchtime already, and I apologize. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. All right, next slide, please. What's wrong with this photo?
Dark slide.
It's dark. This photo was taken a few years ago, around 2009. And it was actually a Manny Pacquiao fight. And we were in this huge ballroom wherein they posted big TV screen so you can watch the fight. And as you know, every Pacquiao fight, diba, they play the national anthem. And this picture was taken on that particular moment. What do you do when they play the national anthem? You stand up, right? So what's wrong with the pic? You'll see three guys there. Those are my friends. We're all standing up. We even have a flag. And look at the background. They were all sitting down. So what's wrong with the pic again?
Nobody's proud.
All right. So that made me think. That got us thinking. Why? During the game, everyone was like jumping and standing up for Pacquiao every time he hits the opponent. But when during the time that they were playing the national anthem, they were still sitting down. I'm personally guilty of this as well a few years ago. There were times where whenever they do play the national anthem, I feel forced standing up, especially in a movie theater, right? In the last school show, and you have the sandwich with you, the popcorn and everything, and then they'll show they play the national anthem, and you're kind of, here it goes again. But one day, I realized something when my friend told me something about the flag. This one here, right here. He said that, whenever you look at the flag, remember that our forefathers actually died for it. The flag symbolizes our freedom. And at that time, thousands of our forefathers actually died just for us in this generation to be able to raise this flag. So now whenever I see a flag or whenever I hear the national anthem, I make sure that I stand up and at least put my hand in my heart. The next slide is a story about my experience in the US. I was in a gathering, mostly Americans and foreigners in the room. And I was talking to them here and there. And then suddenly I was talking to this guy who looked like a Filipino. So medyo gusto na English ko. I was like, hey pare, are you Filipino? I wanted to speak in our language already, no splitting. And then he looked at me, and then, no, I'm not. He said, no, I'm not. So it's okay, baka hindi naman talaga Pinoy. But later that night, I found out that in fact, he was a Pinoy. There were other Pinoys in the room, and they told me that the guy actually grew up in Manila. So again, that got me thinking, why do some Filipinos deny being a Pinoy? So whenever there's a chance with friends, I would ask about it. Whenever I go back here in Manila, I would ask my former professors, Ma'am, bakit po kaya some Filipinos would deny being a Filipino? And they said, usually you deny something if you're not proud of it. So we started talking about it, the things that we can be proud of, and we started contributing articles on the many things that we can be proud of as Pinoys, from business, literature, and everything else. Eventually, next slide please, we put them all together and it became a book, and we called it Filipino Pride. Filipino Pride is a non-profit advocacy, and that made me decide to go back here in the Philippines. Next slide please. I started going around the country, visiting different public schools. I drove around from Luzon, actually from the north, Ilocos down to Bicol area, Luzon area. And we were talking about the importance of our instilling national pride in ourselves. Why is it so important? In fact, baka alam niyo, but for us, whenever we go around, we ask, what's the Tagalog word for pride? The nearest is yabang, right? And there's a negative connotation for yabang. Kaya siguro yung iba, when they say, hey, be proud as a Filipino, nagyayabang nga bilang Pinoy in a negative way. Kaya marami siguro mayabang. The other word is possibly dangal, but it's more on honor than pride. Right? So we went around trying to tell kids and encouraging them that it's important that we instill national pride in ourselves. Nation building is more than building bridges and infrastructures. We believe that to build a nation, you have to build in the hearts and minds of the Filipinos. So as you can see, these are some of the pictures that we've gotten when we went around the country. Next slide, please. And because of this advocacy, we're able to, we were featured in different media outlets such as TVs, newspapers, and print ads, and all. What I'm trying to show here is that if you have the right intention, things will fall into the right places. This one, we didn't spend a single thing for our PR and everything. They just captured the story and they posted it in media. Next one. The lesson that I got from that experience was that even small things can make a big difference. So in your case, no matter how small, if you think you have a good idea, just keep on doing it. Next one. The problem with that though is the budget. You know, it's easy to be creative when you have the money. You know, they've shown earlier a lot of great creative stuff. But our problem, as always, in non-profit organizations is that we don't have much money to do it. You may have the greatest idea, but the problem is how to execute it if you don't have the budget at all. So the next project that we had, we were thinking, you know, it's been very expensive to go around the country because out-of-pocket expenses now for accommodation, food, gasoline, and all. So we said, what if we created something that we can just upload and everything else will be, you know, settled by just downloading the whatever it is. So we thought of creating a game. And at that time, we don't have any experience in developing a game at all. But of course, again, with the right intention, because we wanted to promote Filipino culture and Filipino pride in a different way, we decided to sit down and do something about it. Eventually, it became the first Filipino-themed game on iTunes and Google Play. Despite the fact that there's a lot of game developers in the country, we were the first one to build one. Why? Because it's not really profitable if your market is just the Filipinos. But then again, our priority was to promote the advocacy, so we still did, nevertheless. Again, next slide, please. Because of those right intentions, with zero budget in PR and advertising, we were also again featured on different media. Next one. So that's the key lesson there is that if you have the right intention, things will fall into place. Now, we were able to create something on a national level. The next challenge was, next slide please. Can Pinoys make it globally? I'm also posing the same question to you guys. Your age right now, your generation right now, I think, excuse me, given a chance, this would be the best time for me to be young again, kung pwede lang. Why? The power of internet is so powerful. And you have access to almost everything now. Before, if you're, say, a scientist or a science student, if you want to prove a certain theory or something, you need a good laboratory, right? And for you to be able to do that, you need to go to, say, a university, say, in Europe or other developed countries. But now, if you have a good idea, you only need three things. One is internet. Second is a laptop, and number three is some programming skills, perhaps. But programming skills, that's something that you can outsource. So the challenge is there something that we can create that can go global? I'm sure you guys play a lot of games from PlayStation or Nintendo. Do you know that a lot of the popular games there, karamihan din doon ay marami Pinoy gumawa? But it's not known because the one being publicized is a foreign company, but their workers are actually outsourced here in the Philippines. So the idea is, what if we can create our own brand and hopefully make it global? What can it do? Of course, it has a big impact in the economy. Investors will start coming in and a lot of different stuff. So this was the next challenge that we had. Now, the idea behind our next challenge was to create an app that can go global. However, as you know, Time Magazine made a study, and they they tried to find out who has the most or the selfiest city in the world, right? Meaning, sino yung city na pinakamaraming people taking selfies. And you know the answer, right? You know? Which country or which city? It's in Makati City. Makati City. I think number 9 is Quezon City. So with this in mind, next slide please. From the country with the selfiest city, what if we can create a super selfie app? So basically we have the reputation and the experience to do so. This is the concept behind our app. Next slide please. Which is called Pico, the super selfie app. Maybe at first thought you just say, parang babaw naman super selfie app. But let me show you a video of what Pico is all about.
What interests us have stories. Books, movies, poetry, works of art, and even sports. But let me ask you this. What for you is the most beautiful story in the world? Your story, of course. You are the sum of your daily stories. Your story is what defines who you are, who you were, and who you're going to be. Your story becomes your identity, your legacy. So how do you plan to keep and tell your stories? Introducing Pickled. Pickled is the easiest way to tell your story. It's fast because you only need 8 photos to capture your day. It's easy because you are given a quick guide on what type of photos to take. It's fun because you can put a speech balloon, moods, and stickers to spice up your stories. It's different because it's more personal. You can be you, no pretensions. Yet, it's social that you and your friends can check out each other's stories if you share them. And it's amazing because it automatically creates a storyline of you. It's like having your own storybook. It also summarizes each of your everyday moments. Go see your selfie evolution. Anyone can do it. In just a few minutes a day, you are creating the most beautiful story ever. Try Pickled. It's social, but it's personal. Because you deserve to be you.
Budget for this, almost zero. I had to talk to a graphic artist. I had to create the story by myself, write it down. And basically, I think one great thing about being a LaSalle graduate is that we're not just being taught of the knowledge and skills. We're also taught to lead. And as a leader, you have to think of ways on how to make things happen. But as the speaker said earlier, we have to also ask the why on why you're creating things, right? And even Pico, it's not just another photo app. There's a reason also why we created this one. Aside from the advocacy that I was telling you about, there's a reason why we created the Pico, and it's actually all about you, the young ones. And here's a video which shows a tribute to the young generation. Which are you guys?
Cheers to the young ones. The ones who take selfies. The ones who take pictures of what they eat, what they wear, or what they did for the day. They don't care what others will say. They're simply living their lives. For us, it's more than just preserving moments and sharing them. To us, it's capturing humanity. It's a reminder that we only live this life once. That each moment is never going to happen again. It reminds us that we are here to live a life of purpose. It inspires us not to conform, to free ourselves of criticisms, to rebel. It inspires us to be ourselves, to create, to fly, to contribute, to make a difference. For us, what matters most is this. Are we living a life of passion and without regrets?
Right? So whatever you do, you deserve to be here. Pickle, we haven't launched it yet technically, but it was already featured in Rated K and TV5. As I mentioned earlier, if you have the right intention, you have the right story, and you have the right advocacy, people will support you. They just called us and they featured us there. Next slide. And at the same time, we won the Creative Business Cup. We were the national winner for the Philippines 2014. All the winners from different countries, we met in Copenhagen, Denmark. I was just there a couple of weeks ago to represent the Philippines. That's what I'm saying to you. If you keep on doing the things that you want, you can make things happen. Even if you don't have the right budget and all. It's not a reason for you not to do it. Next one, please. You can actually download Pickle right now from iTunes and Google Play. However, it would ask for an invite code. But as fellow Lasalistas, I'm giving you the invite code right now, which is 002. So, for those who will be able to download and show me the app later on your smartphones, I'll give you, next slide please, a Pickle Lasal sticker. Show me the app in your smartphone later. And if you're able to post a couple of photos there, including your selfie, I'll give you the Filipino Pride book. The first one I'll show it to you. Nice promo. Next one, please. The career with marketing is so big. There's no limitation, I think. The good thing about being in the marketing or advertising world is that you are able to promote yourself in different ways. As for myself, I was able to go to social advocacies and tech startups. If you want to make a difference directly to people, you can start doing social advocacies. If you want to be the next Facebook or the next Instagram, you can go and build a tech startup of your own. And mind you, building a tech startup entails two big things. One is development of the product, of course, which you can, get a co-founder from a ComSci, a ComSci student or a graduate from who knows programs, who's got some programming skills. But the other part of a tech startup is actually getting traction, meaning getting customers. A lot of great ideas nagsara na because they weren't able to get customers. And that's where you can come in as marketing and advertising students. Next one, please. Before I end, let me share you a couple of things that I think it's very important for you guys to know also, based on my experience. Number one is to find your passion. We hear this a lot of times, right? But how do you find your passion? Because the faster that you're able, next week please. The faster you get this right, the more you'll get out of life. Maybe for some people, even the older ones, until now they still don't find what their passion is, what their purpose is in life. What I did, try to explore things, I try to travel, I try to talk to a lot of people, find different cultures, and through those things, we are able to find ourselves. Next one. Pay it forward. Whenever I'm not saying doing the big things, but try to do things that you can be able to help others as well, based on what you also gotten from others. The last one is, of course, you have to make things happen. There's no excuses in life, especially to you guys or LaSalle graduates. You have to. There's no reason for you not to do great things. As LaSallites, we are born. We're taught to be leaders. We're taught to make great things, to make things happen, to make things possible. So at the end of the day, you don't regret the things that you did. You always regret the things you didn't do. And lastly, of course, do whatever you want because you deserve to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Mr. Dale Dennis David. As a token of our appreciation, we'll be giving Mr. David a certificate and a bag of gifts from our